Okay, it's a brew day today, and as you can see from that orange glow, it's so fucking cold in the brew shed. I've had to get the heater out. Hello there! It's another brew day, finally. So I did one last week, doing another one this week, getting my brews in for Christmas and the New Year. So I've got planned today, it's a peanut butter chocolate stout, brewed from a recipe on Beersmith. So far I have gone through and done all the mashing in. The brew's actually behind the camera in the boil kettle at the moment, so I'll go through and show you the footage of the mash and up to get to the point of the boil kettle. We'll go through the whole brew day. This isn't going to be a grain to glass, this is just going to be a brew day. I'll probably do a taste test in a few weeks once it's been caked and conditioned and it's ready for drinking. For now, this is just a brew day video. Enjoy. I'm not drinking anything exciting today. I was up drinking late last night with the missus, so yeah, I'm drinking a peppermint tea, so very boring, but it's good on the digestive system. It's a shitty day here in the UK, it's cold, it's raining, it's bloody boring, so let's do something interesting and get a brew on. Okay, we got strike water. Taking forever to come up to temperature. So today we are doing a peanut butter stout. This is a recipe from Beersmith, Jen's chocolate peanut butter stout. It's supposed to say at the end there. This is for the first time from Beersmith. This is my first recipe where I am just making what the recipe says. It's totally unadulterated. It's going to be brewed in exactly the same way as is dictated by the ingredients list here from the website, from the app. So the only thing I've adjusted is the volumes, because obviously I think her one was for a 55 litre volume, mine's for a 33 litre one, so I've adjusted the amounts slightly in order to make it work for a 33 litre boil kettle. So here we are with the grains. Now this, as you've seen from my previous videos, I've been having a problem with efficiency lately, and the only thing that I can think of that's been causing the bad efficiency is the fact that I've been getting my grains from malt miller. So this set of grains has come from a recipe builder kit or recipe builder from Cake Kingdom. So they've got a new page on their website where you can put in the exact amounts that you want of each grain, and you end up with no wastage. You only purchase the exact grains that you need, which seems like a really good cost-effective way of buying your grain. So this is the first time I've done that. So all of the grain is here, came in 2 bags. I've only added the oats myself. So the stuff that we had was we had 3,180 grams of pale malt. So I used, it says Breeze there, but I ended up using Marisota. We've got, what we got there, 450 grams of roasted barley, 340 grams of chocolate malt, 340 crystal malt, 340 Munich malt, 280 grams of flaked barley, and then 280 grams of flaked oats. I've also got 2 bags of milled lactose ready to go in as well. It says 0.91, like 910 grams, which I don't know, I've never put that much milk sugar into a sweet stout before. The recipe says it, so I'm going to do it. I've got my Magnum, I've got the peanut butter powder, so I've got everything I need to go. What feels really weird about this is I'm putting a lot of trust into Cake Kingdom, so I'm hoping, the grains, I'm so used to weighing the grains up myself and making sure that I've got the exact amounts I want. This was sticking it on the website and handing it over to Cake Kingdom and hoping that they've put the right amounts in. It seems to be the overall weight seems to weigh up to the correct amount of weight that the whole grain bill needs. So I think it's going to be okay. Put my trust in Cake Kingdom. I hope it'll be all right. It'll be a really good thing to see as well, to see whether my mash efficiency increases, or the grain itself looks pretty well, pretty well milled. Now it's got some nice, you know, good separation there, nicely crushed in places. So it looks like it's probably going to be okay. So we'll see what the efficiency's like. It'll be really interesting to see whether, you know, if the efficiency goes up, then obviously it's the grain that I'm getting from Malt Miller. If it doesn't, maybe there's something wrong with my setup that I need to look into about trying to increase the efficiency. But for now, I'm just going to wait and see, I guess. So we're at 47 degrees now. We've got quite a while to get. I'm trying to get this up to 82 degrees because it is freaking cold in the shed at the moment. It's 1 degree out there. As you can see from this orange glow, I've got the heater in the shed to try and keep myself a bit warmer. Whilst all of this is coming up to temperature, it's going to take a long time, and I'm also going to lose a lot of heat when I pour the strike water into the cooler, which is going to be absolutely freezing, and the grain, which feels really cold as well. I should probably take a temperature reading to try and see what the difference is going to be. But for now, I'm going for 82 degrees. I'm assuming I'm going to lose, you know, at least 18 degrees. I'm probably hoping to get down to 65. See what happens. Anyway.
Right, if we can get Ed Sheeran in an unofficial capacity to come into the studio. Now, we know he's very easily distracted. When he was in the Live Lounge early this year, he saw that Jedward were in playing Innuendo Bingo on Scott's show and came in to say hello. There's a brilliant photo of Chris Stark and Scott and Jedward and Ed Sheeran all together. I think Chris Stark has it saved as his desktop background. So I had a little think and thought, who's the most distracting person you could put in front of Ed Sheeran? And bearing in mind, he deals with some of the biggest names in music. At the moment, he's got 3 singles out. One with Eminem, actually 4. One with Beyonce, one with Andrea Bocelli, and one with Fuse ODG. Like, he's mixing in very, very big circles. There's one person that I knew he was a huge fan of, and that is because Ed once called up me.
That's going to drop in a minute, huh?
On the radio, as I said, it's called up me, or whatever you call them. He called me up on the radio to speak of his love.
I've got some music in the brew shed. Yeah, shit music, but it's better than nothing. So running off. So then that was a nice thick black liquid. Okay, so we got our water in the brew kettle. Just took a gravity reading. So a post-mash gravity or pre-boil, both the same as far as I can tell, of 1.041. So I think I was looking for 1.045, but I'm not sure whether that, according to the recipe, is with the lactose added or after the lactose, or before the lactose was added. So I'm not 100% sure. So I'm pretty sure that, you know, nearly a kilo of lactose is going to bump that gravity right up. So yeah, I guess so far it looks okay. I'm aiming for a final gravity of 1.054, I believe. So anything I get above that would be brilliant. Otherwise, if I'm getting below that, I need to really think about my setup. Alright, where the boil looks like it's just getting to the point where, you know, at any moment now the hot break's gonna kick in. So I think it's a good time to suddenly just chuck in my first boil additions. So we have 14 grams of Magnum, which I'm going to chuck in. We also have the addition of lactose. So the recipe calls for 910 grams. I've got 2 bags of 500 grams, so I'm just going to chuck in the whole 1000 grams, really 90 grams over, and that's nothing. So it seems silly to save 90 grams in another bag. So I'm just going to chuck all this in. This is a lot. I've never added this much lactose to a brew before, so it should be really interesting. As you can see, it's starting to boil. give this a stir before I add the second bag. See the brakes kicking in, looking like a nice boil. I'm going to chuck in the other bag in a minute, see what happens. Right, that's the first bag. Here we go with the second one. This is a lot of lactose. I know, but lactose adds a lot to a sweet stout. It's really nice. So interesting to see how much of a change adding this much lactose to a beer is going to affect it. Anyway, so that's the first additions added. Hot break hasn't properly happened yet, so it's almost there. So next additions will be the 15-minute additions with the last hops and the protoflock. Okay, smells amazing. Wow. Okay, 15 minutes left in the boil. Okay, so it's time for some additions. We have protoflock, chuck that in. Whoosh. We have the PB2, which is a powdered peanut butter. So apparently there's no fat in this at all, so we shouldn't get any fats interacting with the beer. It's dried peanut butter, so I'm going to open this up now. Screw this, peel off the seal. Okay, lovely. This will be very interesting. I'm going to pour this in. And mix in. Let's stir into it. Oh Jesus, the peanut butter smells amazing. Wow. Yeah, that's amazing, that smell there is amazing. It's like lumps floating in my beer, it just doesn't look right. It looks really weird, but hopefully this should mix in and dissolve, which is really, really weird. Look at this skunk all over my... Yeah, let's brought the temperature down a bit, so I'm going to bring this up to boil. Hopefully this will mix in with the beer. This is really, really weird. Anyway, last hop additions. I've got 28 grams of East Kent Goldings. Well, it's supposed to be East Kent Goldings. I haven't got any, so I've used Northern Brewer, which is the hops that I grew earlier in the year, so I'm going to chuck that in. Yeah, this is interesting. It's going to be interesting actually, because I'm supposed to be adding 450 grams of PB2 to the fermenter for 1 week of the fermentation, so that's going to be really interesting, because I don't want it to be lumpy like this is here. Anyway, let's let this boil for another 15 minutes. Hopefully that'll dissolve into the rest of the wort, and we're not going to end up with a lumpy, yucky looking brew. As you can see, just taking a final gravity reading. We've got our the wort's chilling down at the moment. I was aiming for a gravity of 1054. You can see I've managed to get a gravity of about 1072, which is way above what I was hoping for. So I think things are looking better. It looks like the grain from Keg Kingdom is definitely doing well. It looks like there's issues with the grain coming from Malt Miller, because changing my grain has massively improved my my efficiency and brought it back on track, because dropping 5 or 10 points every brew was not good enough, and now we're back to where we were before, where we're above what we expect. So really, really pleased. Look at that. Still chilling. We're down to just about 40 degrees Celsius at the moment, so a little bit of a way to go. Thankfully all the lumps, the peanut butter lumpage, it's kind of turned into sludge. It's kind of dissolved into the brew, which is nice now. It's not as lumpy as it was before. So yeah, currently chilling. As you've just seen from the previous clip, took a gravity reading, got way above what I was expecting. So I took a post-mash gravity, got 1042. Added the lactose, got up to a gravity of 1055. Boiled for, admittedly it was about an hour and a quarter, and I've got to 1072. So really, really pleased with the results I've got from this brew. So I'm just going to wait for this to chill, then get this in the fermenter. Pitch in. So yeast is already in the bottom of the bucket. We're down to what, another 12 litres left in there. Giving this a nice bit of aeration when I do this. And I'm going to get this in the fermenter. Oh, you're joking. Okay, so here we are in the fermentation bucket. Yeah. That black mark on the side there is the 20 litre mark, and so I'm a little bit over, so it looks like about 21 litres, so that's perfect. I'm going to get the airlock on that in a minute and chuck that in the fermentation fridge, but in the meantime let's have a little look at what we got in the bottom of the boil kettle. So this is just a peanut buttery junky mess down the bottom of the boil kettle. I'm really curious as to what this tastes like. This is like peanut butter lumps and beer. Like unfinished beer and peanut butter, to be honest. Yeah, interesting. So anyway, look, I'm going to tidy up this gunky mess and tidy up around here, then get the beer chucked in the fermentation fridge. Here we are in the ferm fridge. Fermentation chamber, whatever you want to bloody call it. Yeah, so 21 litres yeast pitched. I just want to point out that the yeast that I used was the Cross My Loof USA Pale Ale yeast, I think it's called. Rehydrated it for half an hour before pitching it. See how it goes. As you can see, I've added a blow-off tube. It's kind of like a standard practice now. I've had too many brews that have just gone right through the airlock, so now I just use a blow-off tube all the time. Anyway, so let's just leave this in here. I'm going to come and visit this again in 1 week's time, where I'm going to chuck in a load more lumpy peanut butter. Okay, peanut butter stout. It's now a week after brew day. Fermentation kicked off like crazy for the first couple of days and then died down pretty quickly. As you can see, there's a nice krausen ring. Some bubbles on the surface. Nothing there. All looks okay to me. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to chuck in. I've got 500 grams of cacao nibs. Recipe says 450, but it comes in a bag of 500, so I'm just going to chuck a lot in. So these have been soaking for the last 3 days in vodka. I just want to make sure that they're as clean as possible, get rid of any possible bacteria on there by soaking them in alcohol. Also gives them an amazing smell, like the alcohol-y, chocolatey smell that's coming off of them is absolutely amazing. So anyway, I'm going to chuck these in straight into the fermenter. I'm going to leave that in for the next week. I'm now going to go and prep my peanut butter powder, form that into some sort of liquid, because one thing I don't want to do is for that to form loads of crappy lumps in the beer like it did initially in the boil kettle. So I'm going to mix that up. I've got some water that I've boiled, which I'm waiting to cool down so that it's nice and sterile. And I'm going to mix that up with the peanut butter powder to form as liquidy to try and get it as liquid as possible. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. So that it kind of mixes in with the in the beer as easily as possible. So let me just go off and do that. Okay, back again. Right, now it's time to add the peanut butter. So this is where we left off last time. Okay, so this is the wort with the cacao nibs soaked in vodka in. That was literally 5 hours ago, so I had to boil some water, let it cool down, and it's cooled down to a nice temperature now, and I've mixed it up with the peanut butter powder, the PB2, and we have this kind of, there's about 1.5 litres in here, and we have this peanut butter kind of milkshake. It's a really nice consistency actually, so I think I'll be alright pouring this in. Have a little taste. It's actually not that bad. If you like your really smooth peanut butter, it's actually Quite a nice taste. I like crunchy peanut butter myself. Anyway, let's pour this into the beer. And so we're whacking up our quantity a bit here, so it looks like, you know, I'm probably going into a bigger literage. I don't know whether this would affect. See, there's not much left in the bottom there, which is really cool. The colour that this is, that kind of nice hazy colour, really reminds me of peanut butter stouts I've drunk in the past, actually. Anyway, so our quantity's gone up probably to about 23 litres now, which means I'll probably have enough here, as long as there's not too much sludge in the bottom, to bottle condition some of this. So now I'm going to shove the lid on now, leave it again for a week, and then we will be ready to keg and bottle.